Hello, my name is Beck and welcome to a weekend reading vlog. This is my first vlog of 2019 and I'm super excited to film it. I was going to do one a little bit earlier, but I've just been so busy that I haven't had an actual chance to sit down and film, literally at all. So I'm really happy to finally sit down and talk to the camera about what I'm actually reading, because filming these videos keeps me accountable. And I'm finding that without filming these videos, all I'm doing is going to and from my temporary job and listening to audiobooks on the train, and I'm not actually reading anything physically, which is quite frustrating because I set my books at 100 books to read this year. That was my Goodreads goal, and I'm now one book behind, which really isn't that bad, and I know it's only a personal goal. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but because I've got 138 books on my to be read pile that I own, I really want to get that number down to definitely under 100, and then as low as I can possibly get it. So reaching that 100 goal this year is important to me, which is why I'm doing this reading vlog, because I want to squeeze in some comics and manga before Contemporary-a-thon starts. So the first book that I've got on my tentative weekend TBR, because things could change and I might end up picking a novel up instead. I'm not really sure how busy I'm going to be because things tend to crop up and friends text me at the last minute on weekends going, let's hang out. So I don't know if I'll get to all of these, but my goal is obviously to try and get to them, because I believe that if I own it and it's unread, then it counts towards my Goodreads goal once I've read it, obviously. So I plan on filling out some of my Goodreads numbers with some comics and manga, because I'm listening to some really heavy adult fantasy on audiobooks, so I feel like I'm getting the page count in terms of long books, but I'm just not getting my physical reads in, so I want to change that up. So the first book that is on this TBR pile is Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan, and I think it's by just him. So Brian K. Vaughan is the writer, but we've also got Cliff Chiang, who's the artist, and Matt Wilson and Jared K. Fletcher, who are the colours and then the letters. And I don't really know much about this. I've heard mixed reviews about it. I know that it follows a couple of 12-year-old girls who are paper delivery girls in about the 1980s, and I feel like this is contemporary-ish and it has a bit of a sci-fi twist. I love the art style and I love Saga, which is also written by Brian K. Vaughan. Different artist, but I like the colour and the style on this cover, so hopefully I enjoy the content inside as well. And then the next two books are actually in the same series. They're volumes 7 and 8 of Attack on Titan. I might butcher the pronunciation of this author, so I apologise in advance, but it is Hajime Isayama, and this is essentially a dystopian manga series about this boy named Eren Yeager. It's really hard to describe. Basically, Tokyo now exists within 3 rings, and these settlements have huge walls built around them because in this world there are titans, so the population of humanity has to hide within these walls from these titans because the titans only eat people. You don't really know why they only eat people, you don't really know why they're attacking the last remnants of civilization, and you don't really know a lot of Eren Yeager's backstory either. It's slowly revealed to you as he kind of joins this guard that protects the city. It is a very, very dark and gory manga, and I'm really liking it, but it's the type of book that you kind of need a mental break afterwards. You kind of have to go on social media and scroll through pictures of cute puppies after you read a volume or two because you just need that break. And I've heard the anime is incredible as well and follows very closely on with the manga too. So I want to read the few volumes that I have, and if I like continuing it as a manga, because it's very action based, and even though the panels and the art is incredible and it really conveys the movement, I do like seeing this stuff brought to life in an anime where it's got all the sound effects and the colour as well. So I will be adding these to my weekend TBR as well. So these are the things that I've got on my weekend TBR, and I've also been listening to the third book in the Black Prism series. I'm like 24% through the third book, which is called The Broken Eye, and I gave the first book 5 stars, this one here, and I read that at the end of last year, and then I also finished the second book very, very recently. So less than a week ago I finished the second book, which is called The Blinding Knife, and then I've got the fourth book, Blood Mirror, sitting on the shelf behind me, which it's funny because I own the first book and then the fourth book, but I don't actually own anything in between, so I'm definitely going to have to buy this series physically after I finish reading them on audiobook, because I think they're a new favourite fantasy series. This series, if you weren't aware of it, is an adult fantasy. It's multiple perspective and it's told in third person rather than first. The magic system in this book I did describe a little bit in my spoiler-free review for the first book, but for those of you who haven't seen that video, I will link it. It basically relies on the spectrum of colour. It's not common to see colour and be able to use it, but characters can see more than one colour and use more than one colour. But people who can use more than one colour are bichromes, and people who can use all of the colours are polychromes. And in this world there is the Prism, and he is basically the ambassador of all of the countries that bind everything together and keep the peace and keep the order of the natural world, because he can see and balance every single colour. I haven't even scratched the surface and this magic system is so deep. I love it when a book builds on its pre-existing lore in the world and then it takes that lore and twists it in a believable way to give you some sort of plot twist and surprise, and that's what this book and this series keep doing. And so after that giant tangent, these are the books that I want to read this weekend. Obviously I'm holding up Black Prism instead of the third book, but I'm reading it on audiobook so I can't really hold it up to show you. But I want to get through these. I'm setting like a tentative TBR so that I don't have pressure on myself to read, because I also want to do a bit of video editing and just enjoy my weekend. It's going to be a nice quiet weekend for once. Next week is going to be so busy with Contemporary-a-thon, and I've got a concert as well, and I've got work all week, which I wasn't anticipating but I'm really grateful for, even though it takes up my time to vlog during the day. So I'm putting together this reading vlog for the weekend because I want to put out some content because I have not been filming lately. So I hope to get through these and I will bring you along with me when I can. Hello again, it is Sunday, it's around 11 o'clock and I just wanted to give a quick update because today is going to be crazy busy and yesterday was crazy busy as well, which is why I didn't really film very much. In hindsight, this is probably not the best weekend to do a reading vlog because things have just been so incredibly busy and I actually haven't had a chance to sit down and read very much. I have read about half of Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and I expected this to have a little bit of a sci-fi twist, but it had a very heavy sci-fi twist, which is not something that I'm mad about. I love sci-fi. It just seems a little bit weird to me, but in a good way. So I'm sticking with it. I'm planning on finishing it hopefully today. I'm not really optimistic about finishing it and I'm not really optimistic about finishing the 2 volumes of Attack on Titan I picked off my shelf either. But honestly, if I just finish this one, then I will be pretty happy anyway. I would sit down and whiz through it now, but unfortunately I've got a few things to do because I'm having some friends over for dinner tonight, so I've got to rush out to the shops, get some groceries, meet someone for lunch, and then do some video editing in this afternoon. But before I ended up leaving for the shops, my friend Tash stopped by and she ended up giving me these 2 books, which was really lovely of her. The first book that she gave me is Lies Sleeping, and this is part of the Rivers of London series. Dave has read these books, but I haven't, so they're urban adult fantasy books. I'm really keen on starting the Rivers of London, but it's just been pushed to the bottom of my TBR pile. I do own the first couple of books. You'll probably see them in my sit-down videos when I film at Dave's house, because a bunch of them are on his shelf. So when Tash said that she was getting rid of this one, I was like, yes please, give it to me, so I can just add it to the stack that I've already got and hopefully blaze through that series eventually. And then the next book she gave me is called The Test by Sylvain Neuvel, and this is the same author that wrote the Sleeping Giants trilogy, which I really loved. It's called The Themis Files. This one, however, I believe is just a little standalone novella. It's really short and it's kind of futuristic and it talks about citizenship, I believe. I'll just read the blurb on the back. It says, Britain, the not too distant future. Idea is sitting the citizenship test. He wants his family to belong. 25 questions to determine the worth of a life. 25 chances to impress. When the test takes an unexpected and tragic turn, Idea is handed the power of life and death. How do you value another person's life when all you have is multiple choice? I don't really know much more than that. I've seen it in 1 or 2 anticipated releases videos on BookTube, and I can't believe that I didn't realise it was coming out very soon. This is an advanced copy, but I'll put the release date on the screen if I remember. So yes, I've got these 2 lovely books from Tash, so thank you very much. And I've also started reading Paper Girls, and that's pretty much my update for now. I'll try and bring you along when I go and run my errands because it's going to be crazy busy and I don't know if I'll even have enough hands to pull out the camera. Even though life has been really crazy busy lately, I really do enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching and I'll catch you in my next clip. Hello again, it is the afternoon on Sunday and I've just dropped in to wrap up this vlog because I got so busy I didn't end up filming a bunch of stuff and now I've got to film my wrap up. But I did finish Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and I'm not quite sure how I want to rate it. I think it's gonna sit between a 3.5 to 4 stars. I'm leaning towards 4 stars, but it was not what I expected and I think that's what has thrown me. I said earlier that I thought this was going to just have a sci-fi twist, but it ended up turning into full sci-fi, which I could really get behind. I really liked where it went, even though I was very confused throughout. It was definitely a really good setup volume, so I'd be eager to continue this series. A lot of people that I've seen talk about this do say that it has a lot of dark themes in it, and I can get on board with that. The language in here was a little bit crass and there was a slur or 2 that was said as well, but the character that said that got told off for it, so it's not like it didn't go unaddressed. This volume was very busy though, so it seemed like it was scrambling to set everything up. But because I really liked Brian K. Vaughan's style of writing, and I really like the narrative of Saga that he's written as well, I was happy to stick by this and see where it ended up, and sure enough, the last page of this blew my mind. I thought it was awesome. So like I said, I do definitely want to continue on with the series when I eventually can afford the rest of the volumes for it. But apart from this one, I didn't end up finishing anything else this weekend. I didn't even listen to my audiobook, which is a surprise because I did a bunch of cleaning today. So I guess it's just Paper Girls that I have to show for this weekend, which isn't that bad considering the past couple of weekends this year I actually haven't read anything at all. So this is a nice baby step towards actually getting onto my reading game and reading more on the weekends. And that was the entire reason I filmed this vlog. I'm having kind of a mental burnout after working the entire week and getting home and just not wanting to do anything at all. So filming this vlog and being held accountable has actually made me pick something up that I own and had unread, and now it is read. So I'm pretty proud of what I've done, even though it was just a little small nibble at my TBR. But anyway, I have to go and I have to wrap this up, and then Contemporary-a-thon starts tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping to get my physical reading game back on track with that readathon, so keep your fingers crossed. I will be vlogging the entire week, even though I'll mostly be filming just after work because I feel like that's the only time that I'm going to have to film anyway. But that's pretty much all I have to say. I've got my Contemporary-a-thon TBR already up, so I will link that below so you can go and check it out. But aside from those books, after I finish those or finish that readathon in general, I'll be picking up Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon because that comes out on the 26th of February and I had planned to have already started it. But like I said, I've been in a bit of a reading burnout lately, and just a creative burnout in general. Not in a negative way, just in a being really busy and not having time to actually think creatively way. So I'm really looking forward to getting onto that adult fantasy because I haven't read an adult fantasy that's multiple perspective by a female author in a really long time. So I'm super pumped for it, and hopefully I'll have a reading vlog up. I'm not really sure how I'm going to structure it, but I'll give it a go and see what happens. So yeah, you can definitely look forward to more vlogs on this channel because I'm trying to get my creative mojo back. And I hope you've had a lovely start to the new year. I hope your reading is on point, even though mine might not be up to scratch yet. But I hope you've had a lovely start to the year. I hope you've read some amazing books. I can't wait to continue this year. There's going to be so many book launches at the start of this year in March and May especially that I can't wait to attend. And I can't wait to read more audiobooks, manga and comics and novels. It's going to be so exciting. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you're currently reading if you've picked something new up, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!